Hi guys, welcome to Office Blokes React. I'm Office Bloke Dave.
I'm Office Bloke Mike.
I'm Office Bloke Daz.
Together we are the Office Blokes.
Yes, we are.
Aye.
Hooters.
Love the place.
Never been.
What?
Same here.
There's one in the UK, isn't there?
Nottingham.
In Nottingham.
Oh, right, okay.
I've not been to Nottingham for a long time.
the only
to
one.
Be fair.
Someone actually asked me to open one not long ago.
No, they said show us your Hooters.
No, they said, do you want to open a bar and do you want to come as a partner in the bar? We were going to open at the airport,
Yeah.
in one of the hotels at the airport, and it was going to be a Hooters.
So it's is it a franchise?
Franchise, yeah. I turned it down in the end. It just wasn't for me. I don't know fuck all about restaurateurs or whatever.
Tough, innit?
Yes.
The problem is they've tried to open other sites, haven't they? And people have kicked off about it.
I think
Right,
it was
okay.
fake news.
Really?
Yeah. You talking about Salford Keys?
Yeah, I heard that
Fake
there was going to be
news.
one in Salford. Really?
Fake news, yeah.
Ah, that's a shame. Well, no, it's not a shame actually, because it'd be good for one to open.
The guy I was talking to about doing it at the airport, he's serious about doing it, so he's looking at sites to do something.
Right.
And he's looking at Hooters, but he wants the airport. He's got experience with airport restaurants, so it's
Yeah.
but it just wasn't for me.
I'm surprised there's only one in the country, to be honest. Especially if it's done okay as well.
They may own the
So I'm
entire
really surprised,
franchise rights for the UK. Just won that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't know. There's only one in
but
Nottingham.
strange.
We are getting a lot more things. Like I know Chick-fil-A opened recently in the UK,
Yeah,
didn't it?
it's Carl Junior's is opening.
Yeah, we've got
Popeye's just opening in Manchester.
Wingstop, but Wingstop
No,
I
it's
had from
dead.
town. It's grim.
Yeah, it is.
There's
The
one at-
shittest wings you've ever had, but with nice sauces on them.
I think there's one at the Trafford Centre, isn't there?
Wingstop.
Yeah,
Correct.
I think,
Yep.
one of my sons has been there.
You're
He seems to quite like it.
Yeah.
The wings
But
are trash.
Yeah,
they're
they are.
like that big.
Yeah,
little,
off of sparrow wings.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
not
The
as good as
flavors are good though. It's just
Yeah.
actual wings.
We're
and
getting
shit.
Carl Junior's as well.
What's that?
Burger
Is that
bar.
burgers and stuff? Oh, right, okay.
I like it. I think the more competition, the better in that sort of field.
American
Definitely,
burgers are becoming real popular over here again now. It's like because they're doing all the smash burgers.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
all the different types of style of burger they're doing is becoming very, very popular.
Yeah.
Well, we've got Archers though, haven't they? Didn't that start in Manchester?
Archie's.
Archie's, sorry. And I'm sure Drake invested in it or something. And I think that may have gone to the States. That may have gone the other way.
Five
now.
Guys is the same sort of thing, isn't it? Is that
Five
American?
Guys is American.
Five Guys is
Yeah.
from the States. The best fries
But
of
it's
any
a-
burger place.
They've got a few over here, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
So-
one in
It's not great neither.
Parswood.
Yeah. Near me.
I like it. I like it. I've had a couple of nice
Yeah.
burgers
Yeah.
from there.
Right. Nice.
Yeah, there you go. Right then, Hooters. We've not done Company Man for absolutely
No, we
ages.
haven't. Quite enjoy Company Man as well.
I
Yeah.
enjoy Hooters. Just
It's
enjoy
a great place. I used to go take the kids every Sunday for the colouring contest. We used to do.
There's an episode of Undercover Boss. I don't know if you've ever seen it. That's in Hooters.
I have seen it.
It's cringe. It's like the guy that's the manager of the place.
He's making
is
them
like,
eat food at a certain
like refried beans with the hands behind the back, and whoever finishes the plate first gets an extra shift. And
Yeah.
the guy was a creep.
Yeah, he was.
Did
Definitely
we
a
see
creep.
that as a reaction?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I
We,
thought
we
so.
may have done actually.
Yeah, I thought so.
Let's check it out anyway. Hooters, the controversial history. Let's do it. Oh.
Hooters is a popular chain of around 300 restaurants in the United States with an additional 100 or so locations found in almost 30 other countries around the world. Their sales are estimated to be in the range of $800 million a year, which is obviously a lot, but I would say that the awareness and the reputation of Hooters is actually far greater than those numbers reflect. What I mean is that whether or not you have been there before, most of the people watching this already have a detailed image in their mind about them. You probably already know about the televisions on the walls, the famous chicken wings, and probably most of all, the servers. The Hooters girls are widely known for their smiling, friendly personalities, as well as their tight, revealing clothing. Truly, that white t-shirt, orange shorts combo has to be one of the most recognizable uniforms in the industry. I mean, they have done a really good job in creating a distinctive brand and making people aware of it. I can tell you with certainty that the first time I ever heard about them was in the movie Big Daddy with Adam Sandler. It's part of a running joke and the setting of the final scene. It is also the setting of a deleted scene from an Austin Powers movie where all the friends of one of Dr. Evil's henchmen learn that he has been killed by an ill-tempered, mutated sea bass. You have to watch it to really get that one, and it has been parodied in various cartoons like South Park. The first Hooters opened for business in Clearwater, Florida in October of 1983, and after 40 years, I have to say that I am impressed by the fact that they are still going this strong. wrong. As you might expect, given the overtly sexualized concept, they have endured 4 decades of non-stop criticism and controversies. As we saw in those examples, some of it has been lighthearted mocking. It's kind of an easy target to make fun of. Some of it has been moral objections from women's groups and local communities, and some of it...
I love those ones where it's like, put women out of jobs. I'm a feminist. Sack all the women.
Yeah. I've been to a few Hooters around the world as well. I've been to the one in South Africa. I remember going I was on my own. I was on a company trip, business trip down there, and I was sat in the hotel I was in a casino. It was like a hotel come casino, and on the side of the casino was a Hooters. I was at home. I was proper like, didn't want to go home. I'm like, this is me. Casino, hotel, Hooters, sort of thing. Yeah,
all in one place.
And I went to the one in Singapore as well. But I got Gainer's brother on the... I said, we were walking through Atlantic City, and I went, have you ever been to Hooters? And he went, no. I went, no, there's one there. I said, it's a great place, and it's great chicken. I said, go and have a look in the window. Into all reflective windows. He went, oh, like that. So everyone was just staring at him. Like, dickhead.
I think it's very tame, isn't it, really?
Yeah,
it's like, it's just attractive girls.
Yeah, I mean, I remember one...
serving food.
Yeah, one opened on Route... People who know it, Route 22 in Union in New Jersey. And the queue to get in at lunchtime when it opened on that morning was just huge.
Yeah.
And I drove up and I remember finding a parking spot across the way, crossing over, and as I went in, some of my colleagues were at a table just leaving. Yeah. And the queue was out the door, sort of thing, waiting for ages, and I just walked up straight into a table, and I was like, on the first sitting, sort of thing.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I think when we've got strip clubs that serve food. Hooters is just like, it's just a place.
You don't really want to eat food in many strip clubs.
No, I never have, never will.
Clam chowder.
Has involved serious accusations, commonly involving harassment, discrimination, or general mistreatment. So in this video, I want to talk about this unusual concept while highlighting some of their more major controversies over the years. Back in 1983, 6 friends came together to start a new business, probably something that a lot of us talk about doing but never quite get it together. Well, these guys made it happen. All of them had experience in business in one way or another, but none of them knew anything about operating a restaurant. Does anyone else have one of those buildings in your area that just keeps turning into something new, almost like it's cursed because any business that moves in always ends in failure? Do you know what I mean? Well, that's the kind of building where they opened the first Hooters, and early...
It's called Roy's Bar in Altrincham.
I was going to say, yeah, it gets to the bottom of Regent Road.
That's definitely Roy's.
It's
disgusting, that place.
The amount of different things that has been over the years.
Yeah, but even when I walk past that, it makes me itch just walking past it. It's
know,
horrible.
Yes.
Fucking windows need cleaning.
The whole look of it's been like that for years.
It's disgusting.
It's horrible.
I went in at the beginning of this year with my bro, because maybe it was Bank Holiday Sunday, and just everywhere was shut, and it was the only place open. And it's bad.
It's grim.
I knew so many people in there.
It was crazy. Terrible.
Everyone was coked up though.
Oh,
absolutely everyone was. Yeah.
It's a dump.
Early on, it was looking like they were going to be added to that list of failures. On their disastrous first day, I guess they had trouble lighting the fryers, they hadn't secured their license to sell beer yet, and they only had 3 customers. Not the strongest start, but they were able to break through it, partially by developing an attractive menu. Being located near the beach, it started out as more of a seafood restaurant, but they were early adopters of chicken wings, serving them back when they were far less popular, and have since made that a core part of their menu. But I think most would agree that a bigger part of their success can be attributed to some creative marketing efforts. Seriously, from the beginning and continuing on over the years, for better or worse, people have been talking about Hooters. I mean, that name itself will catch your attention. They use an owl in the logo because that's the sound they make. The owl himself is the Hooter, but we all know what's going on here. I think it's interesting that, according to one of the founders, they got the idea for the name after watching a Steve Martin comedy bit.
And you should only refer to them as Hooters.
One of their first marketing attempts was to rent a chicken suit and run around nearby streets trying to attract attention. I think they were desperate there, and it did help a little bit. One of them also swam out into the water with a can of orange spray paint to put the word Hooters on a boat that was partially underwater. It was visible from the street, and again, it helped a little bit, mostly because a local newspaper wrote an article about it. But their first big break happened early in the next year, during the Super Bowl between the Raiders and the Redskins, that luckily was being played in the nearby city of Tampa. It was less than an hour away, so John Riggins, the star player of the Washington Redskins, was able to not only eat there before the game, but also return with his teammates late that night after the game. News outlets made reports about it, and it brought some major attention to the restaurant, helping them double in sales. And the ball kept rolling. Shortly after, they made a franchising deal with a group of investors from Atlanta who created Hooters of America to open dozens of new restaurants over the next few years, and did go on to buy the trademark as well. In July of 1986, the original Hooters girl, Lynn Austin, was featured as Playboy's Playmate of the Month, and that was a big deal back then. It included an article about the restaurant, and that raised sales even more than anything from before. More notable marketing efforts: in 1992, they were sponsoring NASCAR driver Alan Kulwicki when he won the Winston Cup at the Hooters 500 race in Atlanta, but the following year, he was tragically killed in a plane crash. He was on a private plane owned by Hooters that was traveling from an autograph signing at one of their restaurants, and I do want to mention that there were others on that plane, including 26-year-old Mark Brooks, the son of the head of Hooters at the time. Ironically, there was briefly a Hooters airline started a decade later in 2003, not to mention a hotel and casino in Las Vegas that opened in 2006. So yeah, their advertising has gone well beyond typical commercials and billboards.
Pretty sure the cabin crew used to wear the same outfit.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'd never flown them, I don't think.
Pilot
I remember it for some reason.
Pilot comes out dressed like that, and you're like, nope.
There are female pilots, Dave.
I'm not saying that. That's not what I'm saying.
What are you trying to say, Dave?
I'm trying to say if a pilot's dressed like that, I'm out.
Why?
A male pilot.
Any pilot, male, female, whatever. Just no.
If the female pilot's dressed like that and looks like that, I'm definitely getting on that plane.
Hey,
Aren't we,
yeah.
Mike?
No.
She'd have her head right in the cockpit. What?
Oh, man.
Now, the amount of criticism directed toward Hooters, I would say, has been substantial. There is seemingly always a new lawsuit or scandal or protest. Maybe the most publicized one concerns discrimination with their hiring practices. Simply put, they only hire women for their server positions. They're literally called Hooters girls, and that discriminates against men. In the 1990s, the Equal Employment Opportunity
You know it's not men fighting for that, though, is it?
You know what's going to happen.
I want a job at Hooters. How dare you?
I know, yeah.
What could the male equivalent be, and would women go there?
The ball sacks.
The plums.
Plums,
Plums.
yeah. Plums. Cherries.
No women are going to plums, are they? For some guys in skimpy clothes serving the food.
Oh, man.
Daiquiris, and it'd have to be like little nibbles or something, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Nibbles.
The
Sausages.
name of it, Little Nibbles.
Commission launched an investigation against them and demanded that they pay millions of dollars to the men that had been rejected. On one end, you could say that's a fair point. Why should they be able to turn down men instantly because of their gender? But on the other end, that is kind of the whole point, right? Those girls are what they are known for. That's why people go. And their customers would generally prefer their server to be a woman. I don't know. It's a touchy subject, and I don't have the answers here. It makes me think back to that King of the Hill episode, where Dale tries to get a job at a Hooters-like restaurant so he can sue them for discrimination after he's rejected, but then ends up getting hired, and it gets crazy.
I was just going to say, give him the outfit and see how long they last.
Yeah.
Oh, man, yeah. You've got to fit into this. We only have one size.
Fits all.
Yeah.
Uniform, it's just ridiculous. And that is pretty much how Hooters went about defending themselves when the investigation was actually happening. They took all of it as yet another marketing opportunity. When they came out with this hairy, mustached character named Vince that would wear the uniform, they spent millions of dollars to put him in full-page ads in popular newspapers, billboards, radio commercials. All of it was trying to show how ridiculous it would be if they were forced to hire men in that position. It was followed by a March on Washington, where a bunch of Hooters girls carried humorous signs in an effort to protest the protest, I guess. The next year, the committee dropped everything to devote their attention to other cases, but there were other civil lawsuits alleging gender discrimination, the biggest of which was a class action one that was settled out of court for $3.7 million in 1997. Now, all of that I just talked about was only concerning the men that never got hired, so let me move on to the women who did get hired. For them, there have been examples of alleged racial discrimination. In 2015, a black woman in Baltimore Baltimore was not allowed to wear blonde highlights in her hair because it looked unnatural. She was ultimately fired over it and awarded $250,000 after it was ruled to be racial discrimination. And as recent as 2023, a location in North Carolina was sued for discriminating against black women in their hiring decisions while they were restaffing following the pandemic. And there have also been just seemingly countless sexual harassment and assault allegations from women accusing the owners, managers, and even other employees of acting inappropriately. In 1993, in a lawsuit that was settled out of court, 3 women who worked at the Mall of America location in Minnesota claimed that they had been touched inappropriately and verbally abused by male co-workers. In 2000, a woman testified that her managers tried to force her to go home with them, and one even threatened to tie her up. The case ended in her receiving $275,000. In 2004, there was a case where more than 40 women in California were filmed while changing their clothes during part of the interview process. Now, there are others along the same lines, but those are the ones that stand out to me, and I think you get the point.
The corporate world's changed now, isn't it?
Of course.
Remember we used to get away with all this, Mike, didn't we? Jesus. People nowadays.
There would have been loads of people discriminated against, even women. If the women didn't look right, if they were like maybe big women or something, they want just model type.
Yeah, you're right, but that's the brand.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely, yeah.
The point of this sort of whole job role is discrimination, isn't it?
It goes down
because we want women who are going to cater to whatever male audience is coming in, and if they're turned on by blondes with massive boobs, everyone's got to be blonde with massive boobs.
Yeah.
You know?
But you go and try being a basketball player if you're 4'4" and see what happens.
Discrimination.
Sorry, mate. Yeah, it's discrimination. Yeah, even if you're really good at it, but you can't. You know what I mean? You're too small.
It kind of.
But even that shouldn't be. It shouldn't train me to be good.
Train me to be taller.
Yeah. Train me to be a better player.
I mean, there's still certain professions where you have to be either a male or a female as well. Where you'd have to be one or the other.
Like what?
Well, say people working at sports centres or something, changing rooms, things like that.
NFL.
What, you can only be male?
Yeah.
There's no female coaches or referees?
No, the actual players. On-pitch players.
On-pitch play.
I know there was a female college
football
player, wasn't there, recently? But I think in the NFL it's only...
Yeah, I get. But at the same time, this is their brand. Their brand is to have model waitresses. Yeah. And if you're being a dick going, well, I'm a male, I want a job there. He's like, mate, you freaking don't. You're being a knob.
Yeah.
Sling it.
In some cases, discrimination is kind of what the role is.
Yeah.
And there's no getting away from that.
And the girls who are doing it know that's the role.
Yeah.
And they know they're going to get proper decent tips.
Yeah.
For doing what they do, as long as they do the job well.
If you just
they're going to get well looked after.
Yeah. Because, I mean, obviously they're going to discriminate by size. Because most men are going to want a certain body figure of woman.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. They'll be discriminating against women as well, won't they? Not just race or not just men.
It's all discrimination, but it has to be. Yeah. That's the brand, isn't it?
If you've got people purchasing your products, and it's the same with like certain online platforms where women go on and sell their services if you want for what they want on video online services. Some people don't. They're not going to say, "You know what? I've had enough of you today. I'm going to go and look for a guy who's 6'4" with a mustache."
Yeah.
Instead of you. You know what I mean? If you want that, go to TGI Fridays,
right,
or wherever.
Have you seen that Victoria's Secret recently have backtracked on their? They took like a very pro body positivity stance, and it was all about bigger models and more diverse types of people, and the profits are tanked.
Really?
And they've recently come out in the past week or so and said we're getting back to our core principles as a brand. And in other words, they're going to start discriminating again and having the body type of woman they want.
Didn't they?
Yeah, and the thing is that because people just stop buying it.
Yeah.
So they're like, shit, what do? We need to go back to what works.
Yeah.
I mean, even airlines do it to a certain extent with the airline staff, don't they? Cabin crew and stuff like that, to a certain extent.
Yeah,
I know if you
don't fit through there, you're not allowed on the plane.
Yeah, you don't want some big tanks or like walking up and down, knocking your arm every time you walk past here, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your knees hanging over the tiny little bit, like they're shuffling past with their arse right in your face.
There have also been issues in various other areas. In 2021, there was this big social media backlash where Hooters girls posted videos where they were practically disgusted by how revealing their new uniforms were. Those videos ended up getting millions of views, so the company did end up backtracking by saying that they could wear those new uniforms, or they could just stick to the old ones. It was their choice. Also, in my opinion, one of the most uncomfortable things to watch is this 2010 episode of Undercover Boss, where this Hooters manager was cartoonishly terrible,
He's a
to a
scumbag
point
though,
where
isn't
he
he?
had the women engage in a no-hands bean-eating contest to decide which one of them would go home first. Clearly, not everybody at Hooters is like this guy.
Look at him.
He shouldn't be around attractive women.
No, he's probably not normally.
Yeah, exactly. It's the only way he could do it, isn't it? I'm going to train to be a Hooters manager.
But allegedly, there's been a lot of inappropriate stuff happening at those restaurants over the years. But yeah, they're still going pretty strong after 40 years, though there have been points where the future of the chain has come into question. Specifically, during their 30-year anniversary in 2013, they had some slow years leading up to that because their image was arguably becoming stale, while new exciting competitors were stealing away their market share. Consider that Hooters essentially started a new category in the industry, cleverly called a breastaurant, and their success has motivated others to do something similar. Notably, Twin Peaks has grown to over 100 locations.
These are great, these Twin Peaks. They have like about 200 beers on tap. TV screens, like 60 odd TV screens in the bars and all that. It's a mint place.
I got to say, I like the aesthetic more than Hooters.
Someone actually sent me a message yesterday in Twin Peaks.
Really?
Yeah. And said I'm in Twin Peaks at the moment, and it's like beers and everything. Mint.
Yeah. Is it like a chain of them as well then?
Yeah.
It just said there's 100, didn't it?
I'm going to the USA this month, and I think if I'm in the Atlanta area, I think they've got Twin Peaks in Atlanta.
Yeah. Wow.
It's the Hooters model, but just updated slightly, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do something similar. Notably, Twin Peaks has grown to over 100 locations, partially from the help of former Hooters executives. In 2011, the former CEO of Hooters, Cody Brooks, along with many others, left that company to become Twin Peaks franchisees. A situation that also led to a lawsuit where Hooters claimed that they stole trade secrets before leaving. Anyway, in 2013...
What trade secrets? Just put them in skimpy outfits and make sure
it was always going to be copied, wasn't it?
Of course, always.
Yeah. All the guys want, and it's targeted at guys. I mean, I know there's a lot of females going. I've been in Hooters, like I say, loads of times, and it's not just for the food is actually quite decent, but you get a lot of sport on in there as well.
Yeah.
So you got sport, beer, chicken wings, things like that.
Yeah.
Good-looking girls.
Yeah. Good-looking girls pretending to be interested in
all
you.
guys are gonna pile into that just for the sport and the wings and the girls.
Yeah.
No, you're not taking the girls home. I get that.
Yeah.
It's not like you're not there to get married. You're there just to have a good time and a fun time around attractive women.
There's probably some creepy guys that go there
Absolutely,
thinking that is Sandra working tonight?
Yeah, of course. For
a couple of days.
You get them in all bars anyway, don't you? So
correct.
Right way you go.
Yeah.
So
there was a pub in Alty did it years ago for the it was either the World Cup or the Euros. What's the one? Is it the Wheat Sheaf on the corner that's closed? Not the Wheat Sheaf, is it?
Yeah,
opposite George and Dragon.
Yeah.
And the guy that ran that years ago, who got caught up in a scandal and had to run away for a bit, he had all the girls were dressed like Hooters girls, but it was like skimpy England tops, hot pants and stuff. Absolutely rammed in there for all the kids.
Of course it is. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, you go out in the beer garden. If you didn't want to queue up at the bar because it was absolutely packed, he just had big bins full of ice and full of cans of beer, and you can just go on speed bar like £2 for a can of Stella instead of a pint.
Great idea.
Yeah.
Hooters tried to revitalize things by remodeling a bunch of their restaurants, making them brighter, and adding healthier alternatives to the menu. Since then, they have also been making efforts to attract customers outside of their normal demographic. In 2017, they started a spin-off concept called Hoots Wings, with a much more typical atmosphere where people are dressed much more traditionally. And they have been emphasizing delivery of their food because, as their CEO put it, many people wouldn't step foot in our restaurant, but they want our product. These are good alternatives if you just want their food, but then that raises the question of how many people have been going to Hooters because of the food, you see? So it's all things to think about, but considering that the trend of the industry seems to be people eating at home more anyway, it could be a promising direction for them. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about Hooters? That is a big question. Are you one of their dedicated customers that loves the concept and the atmosphere, or are you strictly opposed to them and think that the world would be better off if they were to shut down immediately? Those are two extremes, so I'm guessing you're somewhere in the middle, and there's some good discussions to be had here. Which of these controversies do you personally take issue with, and what do they need to do to improve to win your approval? Before I end the video, I want to say that I realize I touched on some sensitive issues here. They could be tricky to talk about, but I hope you could tell that I did my best to treat them with care while still giving a fair representation of the company. Let me know if you felt that was the case, and any other thoughts you have about Hooters, leave them in the comments.
Nice.
I think it's a great concept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the only issue, probably the biggest issue, is knowing that the staff are treated correctly.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it'd be like that in
And
any
that
place
they're
you go
safe.
to. But you can see why it's a bit more of a concern in that sort of environment, because a lot of it is selling sort of like, good-looking women sort of thing as part of the package. So
Yeah.
you've got to be probably a bit more careful. But
I think it's fair as long as the women are safe, as long as they're looked after, and as long as there isn't creepy managers like that guy from Undercover Boss.
Yeah.
I think what you've got now as well is all them guys that sued them because they couldn't get a job at Hooters, re-employ them and just say, we've got the job for you now, give all your money back and go and deliver that.
They didn't want a job. They didn't want a job there. They just wanted to pay out for anything.
Correct.
Worked out.
We've got you a job at Dongs,
Yeah.
where you're going to be walking around with
They work at Hooters, Hooters on the fly. Delivery drivers.
Hooters on the fly, actually, yeah.
Yeah, delivery drivers.
Make
So
them
it's-
wear a big fake
Yeah,
tits.
absolutely. Yeah.
wouldn't
Just put them in there's your uniform. Go and get in that Datsun over there.
Yeah.
Go and deliver that.
they? Well, gender doesn't exist anymore, does it? So
Datsun.
yeah, it's. I think people should be allowed to spend the money however they want when it comes to consenting adults, and I think that if that is the industry, if people want to go to a place like that, it should exist.
It's a great place, great concept. Food's good, atmosphere's good, sport on the TV. What more do you want?
Yeah,
As a guy,
we will never
girls love it as well. I know they do because I've seen them in there.
as humans, we'll never transcend the fact that sex sells.
Yeah, of
you
course.
know,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
guys
It's-
like to be around attractive women who are pretending to be interested in and laughing at your jokes.
It's always been
and
like that,
stuff.
and it always will be. Of
course it will.
So,
I just like to see you in one of them orange vests and pants days.
Whatever
Jesus
floats your
Christ.
boat.
Yeah, definitely.
No, I wouldn't.
No, we would get that on the channel. Let us know in the comments if you want to see Dave in a Hooters outfit. Hey, we could do a Christmas special with Dave at Hooters.
Yeah, whatever floats your boat. Seriously, that'd some people would be slipping off the chairs after that.
Oh, dearie me.
On that note, hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget like and subscribe. We'll catch you on the next one.
Cheers, guys.